Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Marion, and in today's tutorial, this is the top that we are going to be making. I do love this top so much, especially how the colors are presenting. As you can see here, the primary color for my top, I chose dark green, and then I have the light mustard and the dark mustard, which I will be calling ginger gold. It's sort of golden and ginger, so these are the colors that I am going to be using in this tutorial. As you can see, the top has a turtleneck. I will show you how to construct and attach that. I will also show you how to start, because this is where the top begins when we make this ribbing, and then how the colors are intertwining with the mesh and the drawstrings. And then also we have this part over here that's on the side of the top and goes over the shoulders, beautifully constructed. So stick around and watch till end, and I'd love to see other color combinations that you come up with when you're constructing this top. And enjoy the tutorial, and thank you so much for watching. Before we dive into the construction of the top, let us take a minute to appreciate how it looks like when worn. And this right here is my model Yvonne. She looks so pretty, and this was our inspo for the top. These are more photos of Yvonne just looking pretty and bringing out the beauty in this top. And I'm going to leave the link to where you can get the skirt in the description box below. Thank you. These are the materials that we are going to be using during this tutorial. I have my measuring tape to get my measurements. We will use the top length and the bust measurements. And then you need a pair of scissors to cut your yarn. I will be using a 3.5mm crochet hook. And here is my darning needle to weave in all the ends. And I have some stitch markers to help me mark my stitches here and there. For the yarn, these are the colors that I am going for. I have this ginger gold color. It's Robin. The lot number is 1072 if you want to grab the exact color. And this yarn is 100% acrylic. Actually, I'm using 100% acrylic. The green one is also Robin 100% acrylic, and the lot number is 2090. For the mustard, I will be using Winter King, and this is 5 or 7, that's the lot number. So each ball here is 50 grams, and you can notice the significant difference in weight. So for the ginger gold and the green, they are very light, so I will be doubling these strands to achieve medium weight, around weight 3, which is the weight for this Winter King yarn. So this is medium weight, and the rest are fingering. That's why we will be doubling the strands in the video. So this is the arrangement of colors. We will start with the ribbing, and then we'll start. This ribbing is made of just single crochets in the back loop, and then for the body of the top, we will be doing the mesh stitch, which is just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and this is how we are arranging the colors as we go along. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of green, 2 rows of mustard, 1, 2, 3 rows of the ginger gold, as we repeat. And up here we will also leave this cut out for the neck. So I will give you all the measurements right away. My client has a bust of 32, so to calculate that, we are going to divide 32 by 2, and then you remove 1 inch. So that is 16 minus 1, it gets to 15. So when we start down here, we will make this part 2, 15 inches, and then the length of the top is 16. So those are the measurements that I'm using, and remember we have to do 2 of these. So I'm going to show you on camera how to work the next panel. So to begin your work, you're going to make a slip knot, and this is how I make my slip knot. Once you have that, we are going to chain 11. So you yarn over, pull through the slip knot that we just made. That is 1. Yarn over, pull through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I have chained 11 because that extra 1 is going to act as my turning chain, and then by the end of the next row I should have 10 stitches. So you're going to go into the second stitch. This is the first, this is the second, and insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. We are making a single crochet, yarn over, you have 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through the 2. You go into the next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, you have 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through the 2. Go into the next, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2. We want to make these single crochets until we get to the end of the row, and you should have 10 stitches. So this is my last stitch. I will yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2. So I have 10 stitches, and I'm going to chain 1. We will always chain 1 and turn. And once you turn now, we are going to be working our next row in 1 loop, not both loops. If you enter here, you'll have grabbed both loops, but that is not what we want. We want to be grabbing the back loop only. So you grab the back loop, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through them both. Go into the next, like that. We are grabbing the back loop only because we want the ribbing for this part. So just go through the back loop, yarn over, you have 2, yarn over, pull through the 2, like that, until by the end of this row you should have 10 stitches as well. So once you get to the 10th row is once you get to the 10th stitch, you're going to chain 1 and then turn, and we're going to repeat this row until we have our desired length. So for me, as I had said, I'm gonna do a total of 15 inches without stretching. Don't stretch your work at all. So this is what we're going to be working with until we have a long strip that measures 15 inches. Now, after working off camera, I have a total of 32 by 2. How much is that? 64 rows. I have done 64 rows, and this gives me my 15 inches. Now, we want to clean off one of the sides, this one, because this is where we're going to build more rows. And to do this, I'm going to chain 1 right here. So you chain 1, and now you turn. We're going to be working on the upper part. You insert your hook right here in the ridge and give it a single crochet. We're still working with single crochets, and then go into the next, onto the next row and give it a single crochet. So we're working single crochets until we get to the end of this part. Okay, So after working that row to clean off this side, this is what I have ended up with. And at this point, we are going to cut this yarn and now introduce the green color. So to introduce the next color, you're going to also make a slip knot. And then you will insert your slip knot in this loop right here. And then we are going to tighten them both. And then we can tie these two just to make sure everything is fastened off. And moving forward, we are gonna do the green. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then I turn my work. And once you turn your work, since we are going to start working mesh, we will yarn over, skip this first stitch and go into the next with a double crochet, and then chain 1, yarn over. We are chaining 1, skipping 1, yarn over and go into the next. Insert your hook right there, pull up a loop. You have 3. So you will realize that you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over, pull through 2. You have 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, like that. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the next 2. So we are working the mesh row, and just as I have said, we are skipping 1 stitch and chaining 1 in between those double crochets. So I'm going to continue with the mesh stitches until I get to the end of the row right here. I'm coming towards the end of the row and I've already chained 1. So what I'm going to do is yarn over and insert my last stitch in this very last stitch over here, and then yarn over, pull through. I have 3 on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and that row is completely done. So we are going to go to the second row of green. So what we do is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then turn your work, and we're going to skip the space and then go on top of this double crochet and work a double crochet like that. So the chain 3 is chain 2 as a double crochet, and then the third chain acts as the chain that is on top of the chain 1 here. So chain 1 and then go to the next stitch and do a double crochet, chain 1, skip the space and go to the next double crochet and do a double crochet. Okay, like that. Chain 1, go on top of the next double crochet and work a double crochet. So I'm going to continue working the mesh, just a stitch on top of each stitch with chain 1 in the middle until I get to the end of the row. So I'm coming towards the end of the row and I'm gonna chain 1 and place a second last double crochet on top of this double crochet, and then chain 1. And you see this very last double crochet chain that we did a chain 3, remember? So on top of the second chain, that is where we're going to work our very last double crochet, and we are done with that row completely. So this is what you should be having, and we are going to repeat this row until we have 7 rows of the green. Okay, so I'm going to chain 1, 2, and 3, and then I turn my work and then I'm going to place one double crochet on top of each and every double crochet with a chain one in the middle. So you just do a double crochet, chain one, and then make the next double crochet, chain one, and make the next double crochet on top of the next double crochet, like that. So this is what you should continue with until we change colors. So I went ahead to do the 7 rows of green, and now I want to do the next color, which is mustard. So I will make my slip knot like that, and then I insert my hook, my yarn right here, that is the next color, and tighten them. So once I have that, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then I turn my work. Okay, so once you turn your work, we're going to work just the same as we've been doing with the green, where we're chaining 1 and placing a double crochet on the next, on top of the next stitch. So just chain 1, go to the next and work that, chain 1, go to the next stitch and work that double crochet like that. So I'm gonna work this 2 rows, and then for the next row we will introduce the next color. Alright, so I'm done with the 2 rows of mustard, and I'm ready to introduce the next color. And just remember, every time we are making this slip knot over here, and then we insert the knot inside, we just slide it into the next loop like that. And then now we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then you turn your work and do the same thing as you've been doing. Okay, so we're just doing double crochets on top of double crochets with a chain 1 in the middle. So chain 1, go into the next, chain 1, go into the next, chain 1, go into the next with a double crochet. So I'm going to do 3 rows of this color. I went ahead to complete the entire panel off camera, and this is what I have so far. So we had started with the ribbon part. I have 7 rows, 2 rows and 3 rows, 7 rows, 2 rows and 3 rows. But for the last part here, I have 5 rows of green, but I'm gonna introduce the cutout for shaping out the neck. Now you will get your measurements. As you remember previously, our panel was measuring 15 inches. So this is 15 inches, okay? And at the shoulder here, we want to leave out around 3.5 inches. So this 3.5 will be on both sides. So right here on this side and also on this side. That's why I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches on this side. I should also transfer the 9 stitches on the other side, so that we leave the cutout enough for the neck to pass through. All right, so now since we had 9 stitches on this side, I have counted to the 9th stitch, and that is where I want to insert my yarn and do the next this other side. Okay, so I shall remove my stitch marker and insert my hook right there. After making my slip knot, I will insert this particular slip knot right here, and then we can start by chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we go to the next stitch and do a double crochet, chain 1, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, chain 1, like that until I get to the end of the row. Okay, so I have completed that row, and once you get to the end of the row, you're also going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and then turn your work, and then we're gonna go on top of each and every stitch and do a double crochet until we get to the end right here. Okay, when you get to the very last stitch, just remember we were doing our stitch on the 2nd chain. So right there, that's when you place your double crochet. And at this point, we are done with that part. It only takes 2 rows. And in total, now we have a total of 7 rows, just as the rest are. Now, for measurements, usually a grown-up's head circumference is 22 inches, 20 to 22 inches, and I'm banking on 20. My piece is going to be 20 inches, and then when stretched, it will get to the 22 inches and pass through the head comfortably. So right here, I have a total of 9 inches. It's 8 inches, but stretching to 9 inches, plus the 1 inch on this side. So this is 8 inches. There's the 1 inch on this side. But remember, we have 2 panels here. So this is how it's gonna be, because we're going to work the seam right here. So at this point, we have 2 inches on this side and then 8 inches on this side. So 8 plus 4, that is 12. You multiply that by 2. How many do you get? You get around, 24. But still, this is going to be enough for my client to pass through her head. And so this is 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. You multiply that by 2, you get 20. It will stretch to 22, and it will be enough for my client to pass through her head through here. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to work this seam, because we need to join the back and front panel together. So we're going to join here and also right here, and then we will work the neck area. Okay, so this is how we go about it. So you're going to make sure that the right sides are facing. So this is the right side and this is the right side, and we're going to work this seam on the wrong side of the outfit. So after you line your work like this, we are going to insert our hook right here on the second chain, and then we pull this loop towards us like that, and then we chain 1. And let me turn my work because we are working towards the other direction. And now I'm going to insert my hook here and place a single crochet in this space, and then on top of this double crochet and the double crochet on the other side, I place a single crochet on top there, and then I place another single crochet on top of the space like that, and then on top of these 2 stitches they also get a single crochet, and then we go to the space. So each and every stitch is getting a single crochet, and we're going to do this until we complete the seam. And also we shall attach our yarn on this other side and do the same as well, and then we'll be left with our neckline like that. So I've completed the seams, and this is how the wrong side looks like. This is the wrong side where we have the single crochet row and the single crochet row on this other side to form this side seam, the shoulder seam I mean. Now this is how the neckline is, and we're going to create that pull neck effect. So we will do that separately, and then we'll come attach it over here. But as we do that, also we need to do the extension that is right here on the that extends towards on the shoulder towards the arm right here. So we are going to place our yarn. This is where we're going to originate from, going up and down. So I'm going to show you how to create that, and then also I will show you how to do the turtleneck, and then we will attach once we are done. So I want my turtleneck to be 5 inches long, and then we'll fold it to 2.5 and 2.5. So when you're creating this, you're going to just make chains long enough to to equate to 5 inches long. You can do 6 or 10 or whatever, but for me, I'm choosing to do 5 inches. There's no need to count my stitches. I will just put it on their tape measure and make sure that I have a total of 5 inches. So I'm going to chain here long enough to get me to 5 inches. I actually ended up doing 6 inches, which is not bad either way. I will not undo my stitches. I will just go with it. So I'm going to go into the 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and do a double crochet. So for this part, we are doing double crochets. And once you get to the 4th, and now we are going to be placing in each and every stitch without skipping. So just do each and every stitch gets a double crochet, and we are going to do double crochets until we get to the end of the chain. Okay, so I'm going to do them until I get to the end right here. Now once you have your first row of double crochets, we are going to chain 2, so 1, 2, and then turn your work. And if you turn like this, you'll see the V's on this side. So on the second on top of this second stitch, we're going to grab the back loop and do a double crochet right there, and then yarn over, grab the back loop of the next double crochet right here, and then do a double crochet, yarn over and go to the next, grab the back loop only and work a double crochet. So we're working these double crochets on the back loop only to create that ribbing effect on the neck area. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do until we get to the end of the row. You will work until the end of the row like I have done, and then once you get here, you're always going to chain 2 and then do the exact same thing that we have done on the previous row. So we're just going in the back loop only to form the ribbing effect on the turtleneck. And then I will see you once I'm done with all 20 inches. Remember, the measurements that we are working with here is the measurement that is right here. So this turtleneck is going to sit on the neck, okay? So that's the measurement you're going to use when you're working this. So I'm gonna work until I have all my 20 inches, and then we shall meet up to sew it in. So I'm gonna work this off camera, but as I do, let me also show you how we are going to start working on this extension part. So for this part, we are going to work with half double crochets, and just how we are always introducing our yarn. We make a slip knot, and then you just slide it through whatever it is. Like for me, I will slide it through here, and then I'm going to chain 1. Once I have that chained in, I will be placing 2 half double crochets in each and every row. So I'm gonna put yarn over, insert my hook inside this row, yarn over and do a half double crochet, and then yarn over, go into the next and do a half double crochet like that, and then move to the next, which is this row right here, yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, and I have a half double crochet, and I'm going to work these half double crochets 2 in each and every row. Remember, we are working on the right side, so we are placing those 2 half double crochets like that until we get to the golden color, the ginger gold on the other side. So remember, we have started on the ginger gold right here, or rather the color that you have that has these 3 rows, that is the color that we are working with. Okay, so I'm gonna do this until I get to the other side without skipping any row. So we're going to work this part all straight until we get to this part right here. Okay, just placing 2 half double crochets in each and every row. Once you get to the end here, we are going to be chaining 1. So you'll just chain 1 and then turn your work. And since this is half double crochet and we're going to do the back loop only, we will start from this very first stitch right here, because the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So you go there, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through them all to make a half double crochet, and then yarn over, go in the back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through them all like that. So I'm going to do these back loop stitches until I have the entire part covered, and I will do a total of 6 rows on this part. Okay, so let me work until the green part and then I show you how it looks. So this is what you should be having. I shall see you once I complete the row, or rather once I complete the entire part, because I've told you that I will work a total of 6 rows on this part. So you're going to work the back stitch, the back loop, until you get to this part where we started from, and then you'll go back and forth until you have 6 rows, and then you will reattach your yarn on the other side and do the same, because they have to be identical. I went ahead to complete this part, and this is how it should appear once you're done. Remember, I said you will do 6 rows here, but I went ahead to do 7. And I have attached these straps. So these straps will be tying on the side right here, and also there are these straps on this part right here. So I want to show you, because as you can see, I'm yet to attach the straps on the other side, because what you do on this side is exactly what you need to do on this other side. Now I have my 7 rows here complete, and now I want to show you how I'm going to attach the straps. So to do these straps, I have not doubled but tripled my strands to achieve this desired weight of yarn. So I'm going to introduce another strand on this side so that they are a total of 3. And then I'll just grab my hook like this and insert right here. Sorry. So once you are on your last stitch, we are going to introduce this other strand, so they are 3 instead of 2. So I'll just yarn over as always and then insert it in the very last stitch, and then do my half double crochet normally, and then I continue doing the chains. So I'm going to do a chain that will equal to the ones that are on this side. Okay, at this point you can count your stitches because you want all your strands to be equal. So just count, and the number that you get on this first strand should be the number that every strand is going to get, every drawstring is going to get. So these strings have to be equal. So once you have this right here, you will complete this one and then insert your hook right here and do another strand, and then you will come to this part. You see where we had this ribbing on top here, you will do another one right here and another one right here. And once you have all 4 on this side, they will look like this. Okay, so this is what we are trying to achieve. So after we are done with those parts, the next part that we are going to do is we are going to sew in this part. Remember, we were also working on the turtleneck off camera, and I went ahead to do it 20 inches, and we're going to insert it here so that it lies right there. So this is how to do it. Once you have achieved your inches, mine is 20 inches, we're going to work a seam right here using single crochets, and just make sure you're working that on the wrong side. So I'm going to just pull this part, the loop towards us like that, and then chain 1, and now we're going to work a row of single crochets right here for us to complete that part. So I'll be inserting my hook on this end, this side, and then passing it through towards the other end, and then pulling through and working a single crochet. And I will do this until I get to the end of the opening as we're placing the seam. So at this point, I have completed the seam, and I have made sure to leave a tail long enough before cutting my yarn. And this tail, we are going to use it using a darning needle to attach these two together. So this is going to sit right here, and we're going to line it using stitch markers, and then we will use the tail that we just left to sew it in. Okay, so when you're setting, these 2 stitch markers are very important because they mark like the sides of the neck. Okay, and then now you can place these others like just randomly, but make sure everything is aligning nicely. Okay. You can put as many stitch markers as possible, but just make sure that your piece is intact. And then the idea is once it's sewn on, it's going to sit like this. So I'm going to use my darning needle to sew it in. So we're going to grab this yarn, So we're going to do the same thing all around this part until we get to this part where we started from. So our neck is intact, and now we want to add the part that actually brings the texture to this top. This is the part where I want you to be very, very patient, because this is going to take a little bit of time. Now what we're going to do is we are going to chain a chain long enough, because we're going to be interlocking it in here. So as you can see, I have chained. You see, this is just a chain that I have made, and we're going to insert using our darning needle. We'll be inserting it like this, and then alternating between those stitches, in and out as we pull it like that. So this is the part that is going to give our top texture and the beauty that is for that stitch. Okay, so now when you're chaining this part, you might want to use a little bit of mats. I'm going to do the green part. Will take 1 2 3 4 rows, and then the next row will be of this mustard, about 2 of them. No, we'll actually have the ginger gold 3, and then 2 of the mustard as we go in. So since we are starting with the green, and it's going to take 4 rows, you will take the distance from the top here all the way to where you're starting, which is right here. My distance is 14 inches. So you might want to multiply that by 2, because it's going to go up and down to the back panel. So those are 2, and then you multiply by the number of rows, which is 4. So when I'm chaining, this part is going to take around 112 inches long. So when you chain a chain that is long enough to cover the distance that you're going to have for your for your color, like this one is going to be 112. And when you're taking this distance, please do not stretch your work. Just let it settle, and because we don't want anything that's too tight. And when you're putting this strand in here, this drawstring, you should let it lay in there loosely. And as you can see, I haven't cut my yarn right here, just to be safe. In case I get to the end and my drawstring is not enough, I can just continue chaining, and then I pull it in there and make sure that everything is in place and enough. So we're just going to go in, out, all through until we get to this side, and go downwards till I get to the end right here. So once you get to the end on the other side, make sure your top is laying very, very flat on the table when you're making this, because we don't want anything that is very tight. We just want it loose, so you can regulate and pull this drawstring as much as possible, because we are traveling with it. So I can just leave a little bit of it right here, just in case I need more. I will come back and continue chaining, but we're gonna move with our 112 inches as we go, because we want to weave it in completely. Okay, don't skip any, like 2. We are just skipping 1, in, out, and make sure your work is as beautiful as it should be. So like now I want to start on the second row, And as you can see, I have my strap with me here, my drawstring. So now as you get here, you will just turn and start in the next row right here, still going in and out, in and out, in and out. Just make sure the part that's in remains in and the part that's out on this row, so that they are very even, like, and then you can pull your yarn like that. Okay, and then we continue doing the same as we did for the first row. So I've completed that one, and we're just gonna go into the next here and start doing the same. Now the real work has begun, and what this means is we are chaining a very long chain to make sure that it intertwines in between the mesh stitches to bring out this texture. Making the entire top is not work. The work is right here on this part, because you need to make sure the chain that you have is long enough to actually, go through all this, and it's enough and not too long. So I have completed the green part. I need to now chain a chain long enough to fit the mustard part, and then now we will do the ginger part and do some more green as we go. But so far, this is what we have. I've been working off camera, and so far this is what I have achieved. As you can see, if we zoom in on this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of green, 2 of the mustard, 3 of ginger, and also the 2 for mustard. So what you do on this side is the exact same thing you do on this other side. They should be equal. And then the remaining part, this middle part, will have just green. So as you can see on this middle part, we don't go all the way to the other side. We are just coming up to the neck area, and then we go down to the hem. So I have been working with this line, and I'm at the top here. So when you get to this part, you will just, this is where it's ending, as you can see. So what you do is you insert the hook in through this hole and out through the next one, like that. And then you're going to turn your work, and now we're going to work towards the bottom, like that. So we just go in and out, in and out, in and out as we pull, like that. So this is how this part should be looking like, as you can see. And then you just continue going in and out, in and out, like that. As you pull, just make sure it's lying in there loosely. Do not overstretch the drawstring, okay? I think. So once you get to the bottom here, you realize we have them ending on the same line, like that. So we're going to also go into in here, and then we come out just like that, and then you pull. Just make sure it's very, very loose and not so tight, and then we start working upwards. Like that. So I'm gonna do the same until I complete the remaining lines, and once I'm done with that, I'll be done with the entire top, and then I will weave in the ends, because as you can see, this on this side we have so many ends that are supposed to be woven in. So ideally this is what we're working with, and this is how the inside looks like, and this is how the outside looks like. Okay, so when you get to complete your top, this is how it will turn out. I believe this is so beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of color combinations and complete outfits from you. And if you do follow this tutorial, do tag me on my socials. I will leave links in the description box below to my TikTok and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.
Sasa unasikia aje tunakuangalia hivi vyote? Can we marry you?
Jenny hivi.
Jenny hivi.
You can just marry me.